An opening sets the tone for the whole shebang, priming the viewer for what's to come. It's a pure encapsulation of what it's all about. Just take a look at our own opening. While some don't even consider it part of the overall package, those people are wrong. Some of the best moments can be found in the first 90 seconds. Here are your nominees for Best Opening of 2024.
And the jury winner is One Piece Opening 26, Asu. And the public chose Dandadan Otonoke.
Now, this is one of the categories that you specifically requested, Ina. Well, why is that? Are you like a particular fan of openings? Are you an opening kind of person?
I think like any anime fan, openings, they bring you into the show. I listen to openings to they have playlists. I feel like even though I may not be like music extraordinaire, I can say I like this one. I like that one. The sounds, ooh, very nice. I feel like openings really set the scene for what a show you're about to watch, and I feel like they're also one of the more memorable things about a show too when you think of an anime. So I don't know. I can always just talk endlessly about openings.
Which makes it so crazy because so many people just skip them, right? Like they just hit, fast forward 3 times to get past the minute 30 and then they start the show. So they're missing out on so much. What do you think about the general slate of openings we had for this year?
There are a few that I have never heard of or seen, and then some, of course, that I'm not surprised from, like Frieren, Girls Band Cry, Dandadan, of course. But I wasn't expecting to see just the more, I guess, obscure-ish seasonal anime out of the other ones, I guess, of the lineup of 2024.
Which would be what? Like which one of these would you consider like a little more obscure?
The How to Become Ordinary, Astronaut, Caramel Ribbon Custard. Or wait,
It's
no,
Coast Guard?
that one was Monogatari. Never mind. That one I expect. But yeah, Astronaut, the Shoshimin series. Yeah, these are what anime that I haven't heard of, but watching the openings for some of them made me want to watch it. So
Whoops, can you kind of give us some insight into exactly how you come across these? Like, do all of you really watch, like, sit there and just like watch everything that comes out? I mean, that must be a ton of shows, right?
Yeah, you got it right. It's just the arduous task of going through every single OP that has appeared this year. So that includes leftover shows from last year or from way back, like One Piece, which is has about one OP every year. So yeah, it's just the arduous task of going through everything and ultimately getting to pick only 5 as the jury and having to let all the other 200 or something go. That's you pretty much nailed on the head in it being a quite a undertaking, but also quite exciting to find something obscure with a really good OP that you wouldn't have found otherwise.
And what like makes a good OP? Like what are you exactly looking for? Is it like catchy song, cool animation, or even like kind of something to do with the narrative? Is there anything in particular that you're really looking at? And can you give some examples based on these years?
Yeah, of course. It's gonna be very different from one OP to another. Some are very song forward, where the song is carrying a lot of the maybe emotional weight or hype, or just the energy, and the visuals are sort of there to elevate that. And other times, maybe the song takes more of a back seat, and the visuals are very explosive and leading and being very appealing. But it's always going to be a combination of the two, and the way these two interact with each other. So then talking about things like how do the timings and the harmony between song and visuals work? If there is a sense of build up in the song, is that matched in the visuals? And just general individual stylistic elements between the music and the art, the animation, kind of everything that you would judge in an anime plus just condensed in like 90 seconds.
You know, which one out of these is your favorite?
It's so hard to pick between the two. I am not surprised or disappointed to see One Piece winning the jury and Dandadan winning the public. Those two are probably my pick personally. I'm actually more surprised on on where each of those, the One Piece opening and the Dandadan opening, landed on the opposite sides of. Dandadan is like the fourth to win, is like got fourth place on the jury, while One Piece got like fourth place on the public. That's crazy to me because both of these slap. I feel like they should be first and second on both ends. So I'm very surprised.
Well, I think OP in general has always been kind of a really like competitive category. So it's not like
Mhm.
it's not an aspect of they're just not good enough, right? It's just that there's so many good things that it's hard to like really place them.
Of course.
It's a little like you can see everyone can see my avatar, but like Monogatari, come on, how can you the one of the things I really love about the Monogatari OPs in particular is because there's a new OP for every character, or and not just every character, but every character arc, you can really kind of see the evolution over time of how that kind of tells their story. So you kind of get like a little mini narrative within the OP itself. So if you take a look at this OP, which is Nadeko's OP, right? Of course, you have like the really memey, the one everyone knows, Renai circulation, and then she's all like happy-go-lucky, and then when you see her second arc in second season, it turns into Moso Express, which like very much sounds kind of similar and carries the same visuals as Renai circulation, but now you kind of see like the darker, deeper side of that, right? And so now I think it all comes to a head with this kind of final OP of her character arc, of her like conclusion of her finally realizing her self-actualization, right? And how to like take all those different parts of herself and bring them together. So for me, it's a kind of nice like cherry on the end of the ice cream sundae. So honestly, that's kind of my favorite, but
Yeah, you touch on some interesting stuff there because Caramel Ribbon Curse Start also, as an OP, sort of manages to be a sequel of the other two OP because it uses the same sound font as, or like the same instrumental set as Rena Circulation, and also the visuals in terms of timing. In terms of timing, the visuals map one to one to Rena Circulation. If you take the visuals from Rena Circulation and put the song Caramel Ribbon Curse Art on top of it, it's almost a perfect match. So that's some cool stuff that sort of is unique to a series like Monogatari, that has these OP linked to the characters and has this sense of progression between the different OP. This is one of the most clever versions of it because it's subtle, but it's definitely noticeable once you tune into it.
oh yeah, that's super interesting.
Can I ask how Oshinoko was at the bottom of the list for the jury?
Yeah, that's a fair question. We sort of look at how exciting an OP is just in the context of many years of openings we've seen over time. Like we do this every year since 2016, so we've seen a lot of them, a lot of people in the jury as well, and as well as going through the entire list every year, we sort of get a sense of which things really stand out and which things sort of pop up a little too often to really be exciting. And with Oshinoko's opening, we sort of felt there was a lack of true standout elements. The main thing it's doing is having a sort of ominous undertone by having some distorted elements to the song, as well as a very grayscale, low saturation visuals thrown over otherwise pretty straightforward looking visuals. So sort of to give something that maybe superficially looks normal a dark undertone. But beyond that, we sort of felt there was a lack of really standout imagery, standout animation, or a song that really blew us away. And within the list of the 10 best OP of a year, between all these other OP that have these really big standout elements, it sort of fell a little bit on the lower end of the ranking, unfortunately.
Interesting. Okay.
It kind of reminds me of. Do you guys know the what is this? Is this the name? It's like the Seinfeld effect or the Simpsons effect, where like no matter what kind of new idea you've thought up of, Seinfeld or the Simpsons has probably done it. So then it doesn't feel as new.
Yeah, and I mean most OP in a given year are going to be falling into that group of stuff that even when trying falls into certain expected tropes. So it's going to be hard to stand out from that, and to do that you do have to sort of push it out of the box and even and then stick the landing as well. And Fatale, the Oceanico opening, just sort of plays it a little too safe for our tastes.
This is kind of like a out of nowhere question, but and this doesn't have to be this year. But have you ever seen an opening that the opening itself is like so good and it just slaps, but the actual show that it's attached to is like really bad?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But that's very personal, right? I mean, you have to. Usually, a very good opening is going to be attached to a show that has a similar level of effort. If they're going to go out of their way to make a really interesting, exciting, well-produced opening, then 9 out of 10 times that's going to be the case for the show itself as well. But there are definitely cases where I'm surprised that a show that otherwise feels a little bit tame or mediocrely produced suddenly puts a ton of interesting ideas or great production into the opening, which I guess is down to different directions, different directors, maybe different staff working on it, or just different vision between the opening and the show. But it definitely happens a lot, and we even see some of those pop up during awards a lot of the time.
I'm trying to like think of some, maybe the Guilty Crown opening.
I mean, that's a classic.
Yeah, that's the only one that comes to my head right now for great opening, all right anime.
Well, the only reason I was thinking about it is because the second place jury winner is from You Are Miss Servant, which is not exactly the. Isn't it like about like a ninja maid who comes to save this like boy, right?
That was one of the openings that I haven't seen or heard of this show, but it's so visually interesting. It made me curious about the show.
Oh, in like what way? I haven't watched the opening in quite a long time.
That's the one with a lot of mixed media, right? It combines like puppetry to with some 3D animation to just actual footage of grass and trees, and
Okay.
it's really, really visually interesting.
Yeah, and that's the type of stuff that that really can push an opening towards the top half of the ranking. Really standout elements like those mixed media approaches, especially this opening, which has so many different interpretations of that, from some rotoscoping to photography to puppetry and all kinds of things. And you're gonna find that a lot of time with the jury ranking, the higher something goes, the more you see those types of elements, and the lower you get, maybe you get something that's a bit more tame, even if cleanly executed. We do tend to favor interesting ideas done well, more than just something that's a bit more tame and straightforward.
And would you guys both say that the One Piece OP shows that off as well? Like, when it's as someone not really well versed in this, I see like One Piece opening 26, and I'm just my eyes kind of start to glaze over. Like, is it really that good?
Absolutely. I mean, One Piece has sort of been turning up the heat on openings in the past 2 years or something. Last year was also really good, but this just pushes it over the edge. It's essentially just a complete bombastic barrage of incredible animation, put together incredibly tightly, just shot by shot by shot, flowing perfectly, being vibrant in its color, in its movement. I mean, it's going to be hard to pick out one element to talk about why this opening is so great, which makes it hard to talk about in a short discussion. But it's just an opening that opens and just continuously puts out really interesting shortcuts that just every few seconds switch to something else interesting in a really tightly produced, well boarded way that it's just start to finish. It's a treat. I can't put it any other way. And there's other openings in this list that have moments of brilliance, but this is just one after another from start to finish. Not a single second wasted.
I was thinking about like if I had to pick between the Don opening or the One Piece opening, and both of them are there can be two queens, okay? But
Hey, feel free to if you completely disagree, you can be like Don all day, every day. Don't know what the jury's thinking.
no, I'm like when I went down to it and like I was revisiting the One Piece opening because I only listened to it when it first came out and then listening to it again for the r/anime awards. I had to like listen to it like maybe twice, 3 times because all I've been doing all summer since it released, I was listening to the Don opening. But the more I listened to the One Piece one and watching it, I think Don it's you listen to it, it's a classic. Something that makes anime openings special or elevates it is when the song is specifically made for it. So it's starting with like saying the name Don. The One Piece opening also has they say One Piece. It's made for it, but what I think makes One Piece's stand out compared to the greatness that Don is that it has the backlog and history of everything that's built up to opening 26. There's nods to old outfits that Luffy has worn. There's nods to with every step each character takes, it's a nod to another moment in the series. It's just so fun and vibrant and colorful. It made you watching it, maybe catching up might be worth it. Who knows?
It's
Yeah.
definitely a celebration of the series that makes you
Yes.
want to get stuck in and to be able to consolidate so many different characters, locations, moments of like I don't know, like 2,000 episodes at this point into one opening that evokes that entire legacy. I think that's a very impressive thing to do.
So I think it does deserve its flowers for that.
Well, there you guys have it. Whether or not you are a Don enjoyer or a One Piece enjoyer, I think they both definitely have their merits, as we discussed. But thank you guys for coming out to hang out with me, and I really enjoyed speaking with you.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me as well.
Thank you very much for the Action Award and the Best Opening Award. I'm truly delighted that so many people have watched Don. On behalf of everyone involved in the production, including director Fuga Yamashiro, I would like to express our sincere gratitude for all of you who support this title. Don is a series that blends the essence of action, rom-com, and the occult, offering a variety of ways to enjoy it. We look forward to bringing you more exciting content. Thank you for your unwavering support. Producer Hiroshi Kame, Mainichi Broadcasting System.